Share screen. Another compiler and IDE package that you can get is called simply Fortran. Its disadvantages, it costs money. It comes with a 30-day free trial though, so if you're interested, you might have a look at it. By now, you can pretty much guess how this is going to go. You get online, you do a search for simply Fortran. Now, they have a variety of different operating system options here. You can get Microsoft Windows version, Apple macOS, or GNU Linux systems. Right now, I'm running Windows on this particular machine, so I have downloaded the installer for Windows, and I've already run it. As before, go with all of the default values, click on all of the stuff in the installer, install it in the usual way. So I won't make you suffer through that again. We will run simply Fortran, which, as usual, puts us in some sort of browser IDE type environment. We are going to have a new file, and it's going to do the usual thing. Oh, pardon me. We'll save that for later. Now, one thing that's good about simply Fortran is if it recognizes a Fortran keyword, like print, for instance, it'll put it in red. If you have correctly terminated your character string, it'll make that blue. So you get some clues as you go along as to whether or not what you're working on is correct or not. So I have to save this as usual. I'll call it, well, I've used Fred, I've used Tom, I think I used Jim, I use Patrick, F90. These are all names of friends of mine, well, except for Fred. We have to build the thing. So we go up to the build dialog, build project. It didn't find any syntax errors or anything. This is launch project, and there we are. I accidentally typed a semicolon at the beginning of hello world, but that doesn't hurt anything. And then, as we've done before, we'll put in a little loop to do something else. Do I equals 1 to 10. I might as well go on and put the end to do in so I don't forget about it. And we'll just print something out. We'll print I and I times 7. Now, let's save this. I may have made a typo. If so, I'm good with that because it'll let me see what the error messages look like. Build project. Nope, I thought those commas might be periods, but it looks as though it's all right. Having built the project, we run it, and there are our numbers. And lastly, those of you who use Linux or some other Unix type operating system will probably know everything I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it out of a sense of completeness. I'm running a installation of Ubuntu on a virtual machine, so I'm going to run Control-Alt-T to pop open a terminal, Control-Shift+ to make it a little bigger. If you don't have G4tran installed by default, and many installations don't, you can install it by saying that, except it's not spelled right. Now, I think this machine already has G4tran installed on it. I'll check that in a second. But if it doesn't, I issue this command, and sudo means run this as the supervisor. Apt install means find the appropriate thing and install it. And G4tran, of course, is the package to install. I think I have it already, but let's see. Yes, if it had not been installed, I would have gotten an unknown command or some message like that. In here, this is virtually identical to what went on with the Macintosh, except the installation, if you need to do it, is much easier. But in any event, on this operating system, I like gedit as my editor. I don't remember if I've installed it on this virtual machine or not. Let me see. Yes, I have. So print star, comma, then I'm going to save my file. I will get out of the editor. And you see I have this file that I just created. I'll compile it. And then execute it in the same way as before. If I wanted, I could then go back in. I could put in a loop to do various things, but hopefully by now you see that you're going to be issuing the same Fortran commands regardless of which environment you're in exactly. And as a parting shot, there is a cross-platform IDE that you could get called CodeBlocks. So I'll go up here and run CodeBlocks. I want to create a new project. What kind of project? I'm looking for Fortran application. There it is. You have to give it a project title. I'll call it Fred. Now, the compiler that it's going to use, right now it's set to use GCC, but that isn't exactly what I want. I want the Fortran compiler. So GNU Fortran compiler. They also seem to have G95. I think this will be all right though. And finish. In the Fortran source code, they put in a main program automatically for you. And rather than make up a new name, I'm just going to use main.f90. Ignore all of this stuff for now. We'll just say print star, comma, quote mark, hello, and end. File, save file, build, and it says 0 errors, 0 warnings. We go back to build, and we run the thing. And it says, hello world. It's important to understand that IDEs have nothing to do with the actual programming language here. They just provide you with an environment. Some people like this kind of environment very much. Others prefer the command line environment. That's completely a matter of personal taste. So you see, I've actually been running this in VirtualBox. So let's see now. Stop recording.